If you were to watch some of the popular TV shows filmed during the 1950s, you might notice that many of the shows seem to feature perfect families. In these families, the father goes to work, the wife stays home, and the family has 2, maybe 3 children, all of whom behave perfectly, of course. Today's families, however, look much different. Many of today's families face tough issues like divorce, blended family members, and issues of abuse and violence. It's not that these issues didn't exist back in the 1950s, it's just that they were normally kept private, and they most certainly weren't showcased on television. One of the most common state-sanctioned events in the United States is marriage. Marriage is the formal, state-licensed, and legal union between people. Talk of dissolving a marriage, or what we call divorce, before 1970 may have been met with angry whispers, disapproving gestures, and judgment in general. This is in part because the institution of marriage has traditionally had strong ties to religious institutions and other social norms. After the 1960s, divorce started to become much more commonplace, most likely because of the relaxation of divorce laws and the shift in societal norms as more women started to enter the workforce. Divorce rates would remain high for some time, but within the last 10 to 15 years, divorce rates have steadily declined. Many sociologists feel that one of the biggest reasons for this is because people are increasingly waiting longer to get married to make sure that it is the right decision for them to make. A common question that many sociologists seek to address is the issue of what causes divorce. While more young people are choosing to postpone or opt out of marriage, those who enter into the union do so with the expectation that it will last. However, what seems to predict an increased likelihood that a marriage will end in a divorce is the amount of stress a couple faces. A great deal of marital problems can be related to stress, especially financial stress. Couples who have low incomes and few financial assets are at an increased likelihood for divorce, as are couples who have multiple children, which also creates added financial and subsequent emotional stress. Just as you might not have taken other previous major decisions, like what college you decided to go to or where you decided to live, lightly, neither should you take the decision to marry or get subsequently divorced lightly either. Researchers have found that the best way to ensure a happy marriage is to make sure that each person is at a financially and emotionally stable point in their lives, and that there is a strong sense of equity or equality in the marriage. Even though divorce rates have been declining, they do still occur. And to take it a step further, many of those people who do divorce also end up remarrying and creating all different types of family structures. One of those family structures we may have heard most often is that of a stepfamily. A stepfamily is created when a lone parent starts living with or marries an individual who may or may not be another lone parent. In fact, if we remember at the beginning of this lesson, we mentioned that TV shows almost never included alternative family structures back in the 1950s. However, starting in the 1960s and 1970s, society started to slowly change, and TV shows started to showcase these different family structures. One of the most well-known shows that featured this setup was The Brady Bunch, which brought together a seemingly divorced mother with 3 children and a widowed father with 3 of his own children.